4 minutes, 26 seconds. 4 minutes and 26 seconds. You ask what that number even means, that time means. That is the amount of time that both Queen's Crown Tournament matches accumulated tonight. So, over the first round of the Queen's Crown Tournament, not a single match passed the 5-minute mark. Roman Reigns on Friday had a longer entrance than both Queen's Crown Tournament matches. On top of that, tonight, you had Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, Charlotte 9000, and Becky Lynch was supposed to be in a tag team match where could the partner trust the other, could they get along scenario. That match lasted longer than both the Queen's Crown Tournaments. On top of that, before that match happened, we had all 4 women brawling and fighting with each other for what seemed like 10 to 15 minutes long. It probably was like 5 to 10 minutes, 5 to 8 minutes. But still, that lasted longer. Both things combined lasted 3 times longer than both Queen's Crown Tournament matches. The utter disrespect to this tournament is ridiculous. Shayna Baszler, who won her match tonight in 1 minute and 24 seconds, should go on to win the entire thing. If she loses next week, or loses in the final for whatever fucking reason, this entire thing was a waste of time. They want to talk about how this is going to be a prestigious tournament. This is going to be prestigious, like the King of the Ring. Which the King of the Ring back in the 90s was prestigious. In the early 2000s, when they still did it, was more prestigious than it is nowadays. But still, Xavier Woods and Ricochet had almost an 11-minute match, and it was a good match. Kofi Kingston and Jinder Mahal had 9 minutes and 53 seconds. So combined, the men's King of the Ring tournament matches tonight were 4 times longer than the Queen's Crown Tournament combined. Twice as long as the Queen's Crown Tournament, all 4 matches combined. This is utter garbage. This is not how you do a tournament for the women's division. AEW, in a couple weeks, maybe in December, are going to be having a tournament to crown the first ever TBS champion. What's nice about the titles, you don't have to say Women's Championship, you just have to say TBS Championship, but that's neither here nor there. I guarantee you, when you add up the time for how many matches they're going to do. They could do 8. They could do 16 matches. Guarantee you by the time you add those matches up, the time for those matches combined, they're going to outpace the women's Queen's Crown Tournament by at least 6 times. That's pathetic. You had a chance, WWE. Of course, the Queen's Crown Tournament was announced and was rumored way before the TBS Championship was even announced. You had a chance to go out there and say, hey, this is what we really think of the women's division outside of Charlotte, Becky, Sasha, Bayley, and Bianca Belair until Vince McMahon gets bored of her. And that's going to happen because it's the 4 horsewomen or nobody. You show, this is what we can do with the women's division. This is how we can make the women's division look good in this tournament. Liv Morgan gets eliminated in a little over 2 minutes. Toni Storm doesn't even last 90 seconds against a perennial loser in Zelina Vega. Natalya lasted the longest in her loss, that she lasted 3 minutes and 2 seconds. That is the longest match in the entire tournament. And Shayna Baszler killed Dana Brooke in 1:24. Which, it's Shayna Baszler, I understand it. Honestly, that should have been the only match. That was 1.5 minutes. Everything else should have been at least 5 minutes. If you would have had Liv Morgan and Carmella, Toni Storm and Zelina Vega go 5 minutes each, I would have been like, that's fine. It's what it is. Same thing with Natalya and Piper Niven. If that match would have went 5 minutes, or, I don't know, since they're 2 women who can actually wrestle, 10 minutes, I would have been like, fine. Shayna Baszler killing Dana Brooke, that is fine. That makes sense because Shayna Baszler is a killer and Dana Brooks is garbage. But no, The entire tournament doesn't even equal 10 minutes. Like, unless the semifinals on Friday last less than 60 seconds, which I wouldn't put it past WWE to have Carmella or Zelina Vega go in there and roll up the other one in 30 seconds just to end the damn thing and piss off the fans even more, because they show you tonight how much they don't care about the women's division. So again, the Queen's Crown tournament is garbage. If Shayna Baszler does not walk out against Piper Niven on next week, winning that match, going to Saudi Arabia to win this tournament and being the official Queen of Spades, then I don't see a point in this tournament. The Queen's Crown tournament, if you gave the Queen's Crown tournament to Triple H, which we had the Mae Young Classic for 2 years. You want to know something about the Mae Young Classic? It was amazing. It was great. Compared to what you have here, Piper Niven was in that tournament. The first one, I believe. She was awesome in that tournament. Toni Storm was in both. She was awesome in both. Shayna Baszler came in second place to the eventual winner of the first tournament, and she was awesome in the first ever Mae Young Classic. Why are we watching? And it's just amazing. You have two on your network. I don't know if it's actually on the Peacock edition, but in your archives, you have recently two women's tournaments that are the blueprint to make the Queen's Crown tournament matter. And you said, nah, we're just going to give them 8.5 minutes in the first two rounds. They won't even hit 20 minutes going out of the finals. I guarantee you next week's semifinals, the Friday semifinals and next week's semifinals are going to last an equivalent of 3 minutes. And then we get to the finals and it's going to be a minute and a half, especially if it's Shayna Baszler versus either Carmella or Zelina Vega. That match will last less than 2 minutes. It is in Saudi Arabia, so, they want to get that match done and over with fast. So, Shayna Baszler is going to go over there. She's going to choke out whoever in about 60 seconds. And the total time I predict for the entire Queen's Crown tournament will be 13 minutes at the most. The King of the Ring, outside of Jinder Mahal beating Kofi Kingston, I've had no problems with. Xavier Woods wins against Ricochet in a banger of a match for TV. The best you're going to get for those two in 10 minutes. I mean, it was a banger. It was great. It was awesome. I mean, out of the 4 matches we've had so far, of course, Finn Balor and Cesaro is the match of the tournament so far, which it is what it is. But you had Sasha Banks. You had time, and this is the thing. You had time for Sasha Banks, Charlotte 9000, Becky Lynch, and Bianca Belair to fight like school children for 10.5 to 20 minutes, then have a useless match that had them eventually beat the hell out of each other again, having no contest, which overall, the entire segment between those 4 women right there, everything involved was about 30 minutes of the show tonight. I'm probably exaggerating. I didn't time those. I'm going to have to start doing that, I guess. But 30 minutes, around 30 minutes from the entrances they had all the way to them throwing the final match out. They were on screen plus commercials for 30 minutes. But yet, you couldn't find time for Piper Niven and Natalya to go more than 3 minutes. Those two, I guarantee you, Natalya and Piper Niven could go 10 to 15 minutes and give you a damn good match. Last week, you had Dana Brooke literally buried on commentary by Corey Graves. They put her in a match against Shayna Baszler tonight, like they did last week. And yes, I didn't expect that match to go very long because it's Shayna Baszler. But you could have had Dana Brooke, if you actually give a shit about Dana Brooke, which I know you don't, I don't think anyone gives a shit about Dana Brooke, you could have had her go out there, fight from the ground, bottom up, getting some revenge on Shayna Baszler, fighting, going for legs, doing everything she could to survive Shayna Baszler. 5-minute match, gets choked out after that, and boom, there you go. She tried valiantly, but ended up getting killed anyway. No, minute and 24 seconds. Done. Out of here. The man, of course, fine. Kofi Kingston should have won. So we could. It's like WWE does not care about how compelling the match between Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. And on top of this, they had Kevin Patrick, because Kofi King, after the opening segment with Drew McIntyre, Big E, the Usos, because why are the Usos there? Oh, we haven't even got the Crown Jewel yet, but we have to promote Survivor Series, because if it's either Drew McIntyre or Big E at the Crown Jewel, they're going to Survivor Series to face Roman Reigns and take an L. Well, that's why they were there. That was your main event. So after that, the first match was Xavier Woods versus Ricochet. Before that match, they're in the back having a little chit chat with each other. Kevin Patrick comes up and asks, guys, what happened? You're both in the King of the Ring in different matches. What would happen if you two had to face each other next week? Of course, they're mumbling on the topic and just do a little comedy and go to the ring for Xavier Woods' match. Xavier, of course, wins, beating Ricochet in a pretty good match. And then later in the night, Kofi also has a match, and Kevin Patrick asks the same question. What was the point of having Kevin Patrick ask this question twice and not have both guys win? You wasted our time having Kevin go, yeah, guys, what would happen if you two had to face each other? Hey guys, what would happen if you guys had to face each other? So we don't get that answer. We don't even get that fucking answer. So it's Xavier Woods versus Jinder Mahal next week. So Finn Balor, Sami Zayn. Obviously Finn Balor's winning because Sami Zayn is not allowed to go to Saudi Arabia, which makes me wonder, why is he in the match, in the tournament to begin with? He can't go. Now, there is something you have to make a note of. Jinder Mahal and Sami Zayn are the only two who've won their King of the Ring matches and have put the crown on their head. Telling you right now, that means both guys lose, and we move on to Finn Balor and Xavier Woods. Here's what needs to happen in the King of the Ring's finals. Xavier Woods, the story is, Xavier Woods has been advocating to be in King of the Ring for years. For years. At least 2019, 2018, every time he does something about King of the Ring on his Up Up Down Down channel or some stream or something, he always talks about wanting to be in King of the Ring. No, Xavier Woods should not win King of the Ring. It doesn't work for him. He doesn't need it. Finn Balor turning heel, needing to beat Xavier Woods and winning King of the Ring is necessary. Finn Balor should find a couple friends. I don't care who it is. They could pick 2 people from NXT, 3 people from NXT. I don't care. They need to find 2 people, 3 people, whatever, to be Finn Balor's lackeys who help him cheat to beat Xavier Woods. Finn Balor turns heel because, honestly, babyface Finn Balor has done everything he can on the main roster. And when the last time I watched NXT was around the time that Finn Balor made his return and turned heel on Johnny Gargano and them and became the Prince as we know now. Turn this guy heel, give him a couple guys to, I don't care who it is. It could be, LA Knight could be a part of his group. I don't care. It's 2 guys that people can find viable for him to have under his wing, if you want to say so. And you could have a new form of the Balor Club in which he wins the King of the Ring. He's no longer a prince. He's King Balor. And he rules SmackDown. He rules because he's not on SmackDown. He's on Raw. He rules Monday Night Raw with an iron fist, and he's the guy to beat Big E for the WWE Championship. Finn Balor, Evil King Balor, should go on to WrestleMania as your new WWE and win, either on the way to on the way to WrestleMania or at WrestleMania, wins the WWE Championship from Big E or whoever is WWE Champion. I think Big E should drop it to an evil, villainous Finn Balor, and it would make more sense too because Balor turning heel and winning the crown because he is going to Monday Night Raw and Big E is on Monday Night Raw. The story sets itself up right there. Kofi, Xavier Woods, Big E's best friend, one of his best friends, gets screwed out of his dream to be King of the Ring because Balor decided he wanted to turn his back on the fans, turn his back on everybody to be King of the Ring, to have that crown, to have that notion of not being a prince anymore, but being the king. He goes out there and you have Finn Balor and Big E for the WWE Championship. Does he win it at TLC or the Royal Rumble or Day One? I don't know. That's up to them. But Finn Balor should definitely be the guy who takes the title from Big E. That's just me. The rest of this show, you had, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, you had Drew McIntyre come out. He's not dressed to wrestle, so he's here to talk. He has a face-to-face with Big E. They talk for a bit. Out come the Usos for whatever reason. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have to promote SummerSlam, even though Crown Jewel is next Thursday, which I will not be watching. I will not be reviewing. But they squabble back and forth. The Usos are about to leave when Big E tries to challenge them to a match by saying, I believe I can speak on behalf of Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre is like, you may not speak on behalf of me. So the Usos make the challenge. Big E accepts. They have a squabble back and forth, and then the Usos beat them up and leave them laying. There's that. So, yeah. So, next up we had Mansoor and Mustafa Ali versus the Hurt Business, Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. This match was about 2 minutes. Ali and Cedric go at it, but Ali misses off the top rope. Cedric nails a Michinoku driver for the pin and to win as Shelton stops Mansoor from running back in the ring. After the match, Mansoor is left alone in the ring as Ali leaves to the back, pissed off. So, guess what happens with that tag team? That's right. They break up late in the show. Because Mansoor, I don't know if this is true or not, but it seems like they have in their contract, WWE has in their contract with Saudi Arabia, that Mansoor has to be on every show and Mansoor has to win every time. Think about this. Mansoor was in a Battle Royal, won it. Mansoor took on, I believe, Cesaro, beat him. Mansoor has won every single match he's been in at a Saudi show. He hasn't been put on a Saudi show yet because WWE decided instead of going Mansoor and Mustafa Ali versus the RK Bro, which of course Mansoor and Mustafa Ali were drafted to SmackDown. But since that match didn't happen, they need to break this team up so we can have a match at Crown Jewel. That's why they did it. Already went over the Queen's Crown stuff. We have Charlotte backstage talking about she doesn't care about anything really the Queen's Crown, which I'm sorry, what? I'm really surprised she wasn't in this show. I'm surprised the Charlotte was not in this because you know that if it ain't this year, one of these years she's going to be in the Queen's Crown and WWE is going to anoint her the official Queen. So after Queen's Crown's over, Charlotte can't call herself the Queen anymore. She can't. She's not. She didn't win the Queen's Crown. Someone else did. Riddle took on Omos. Omos came out. Riddle grabs a mic. He stalls for time, blabbing off and on, just chewing time away. AJ eventually gets the ref to ring the bell. Omos kills him. But AJ's like, no, we can kick his ass right now because the bell hasn't rung yet, so we can legally beat his ass how much we want. So he hits him with they said a roundhouse kick, but it wasn't a roundhouse kick. A side kick, a sweeping kick. They show him multiple times for replays. Fans chant for Orton. He tells them to shut up and calls for the old CB, the choke bomb. Choke bomb, 1, 2, 3. That was that. Complete waste of our time. He enters the ring, gets ready for a Styles Clash, but Orton's music hits to distract them. Omos goes to the back to outside by the announce desk because that's the last time Randy Orton hit the RKO, was out there. He's waiting. Orton somehow gets in the ring again, hits the RKO, and is out of here. Lashley comes out, talks some shit about him and Goldberg. I really didn't care. I don't care about, anything that's hyping up Crown Fools, I don't care about. I just don't. Okay, so Jeff Hardy versus Austin Theory. Last week, Austin Theory came out, got a selfie with Jeff Hardy, leveled him, and then got another selfie with him after he's knocked out. Which, with the fact that Jeff Hardy paints his eyelids, it looks fucking creepy when you see Austin Theory doing the selfie with a downed Hardy, and he looks like he's just staring right at him with his dead eyes. It's really creepy. But you want to know how much Vince McMahon thinks about Austin Theory? This match is happening, and out of nowhere, here comes Reggie, here comes R-Truth, here comes all the 24/7 goons. What? You don't see the 24/7 guys coming out doing a Bobby Lashley match or promo. You don't see the 24/7 guys coming out during a Damian Priest match or promo, or Drew McIntyre, or Big E. But here, Austin Theory, the new guy that they drafted from NXT, brought back up to the main roster because they fucking thought, because of whatever reason, this is what you do. You have not a 2-minute match with Jeff Hardy, but you bring out the 24/7 guys to make it look like Hardy's about to win. He hits a twist of fate, goes up for the swanton, misses. Theory rolls him up and pins him and wins. Wow. That right there just shows you how much care they actually have and how much they really think about Austin Theory, which is they don't give a shit. Talk about the King of the Ring. We get stupid shit with John Cena. We had the no contest bullshit stuff with the top 4 women on WWE's television right now. It was a bunch of crap. We didn't need to see that anymore. And then we had Natalya and Piper Niven. That went 3 minutes. Piper Niven wins after rolling her up because that's the most devastating move in professional wrestling. Mustafa Ali backstage beats up Mansoor because he just won't get it. Lays him out. And then we go to the main event, which was Big E and Drew McIntyre versus the Usos. Now, this match was... So, the whole thing was, can they get along? Can Big E and Drew McIntyre get along? Now, of course, early on, yes, they could. They were doing everything they could, wrecking the Usos. But then, of course, what happens? The Usos... Well, Big E's... Drew McIntyre's going for the Claymore. Big E tags in, tells him to get out. Big E gets knocked into Drew McIntyre. He gets knocked over. Big E hits the big ending. Looks like he's going to win. Drew pulls him out. They have words outside. Drew McIntyre and them fight. They get counted out. Of course, the Usos win. Now, on paper, that's the only way this match needed to end. Why would you have... it's better than having anybody in this match getting pinned because none of these guys need to be pinned. I am so sick of champions getting pinned and the fact that Drew McIntyre is challenging for the WWE Championship in a week and a half. There was no reason he needed to be pinned. So a countdown is the best you could do. After that, the Usos attack them. They try to lay them out. They get laid out. And then Drew McIntyre hits Big E with a Claymore and leaves the ring to send Raw off the air. Monday Night Raw, it's fucking atrocious. Outside of a King of the Ring match with Xavier Woods and Ricochet, the rest of the show fucking sucked. What can you tell? The Women's Queen's Crown Tournament, if Shayna Baszler loses next week or loses in the final, it was a waste of time. It's still a waste of time. Here's the thing. If you want to make the first ever Queen's Crown Tournament a legit thing, Becky should be in it, Sasha should be in it, Charlotte should be in it, Bianca Belair should be in it, Shayna Baszler should be in it, and that should be 5 or whatever. And the thing, the reason why the King of the Ring is only 8 men instead of 16 is because they decided to give us this awful Queen's Crown tournament. If they didn't try and attempt this lame-ass tournament for the women, which I don't blame the women involved, I blame the booking, we would have had a 16-man King of the Ring tournament, and it would have been a lot better than what we got. But that is your quick Monday Night Raw review. There's really nothing to talk about this show outside of that, what I did at the beginning. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like what it's like this video, find me on Minds The France Club, find me on twitch.tv/The France Club, and find me on Instagram at The France Club. And I'll see you guys Friday for SmackDown and Rampage and how that's going to go. And then Saturday, of course, for a special Saturday night of AEW. Until then, my name is France, and I'll see you guys later.